Okay, congratulations! It's a good movie? What to expect when you're expecting about 5 different couples and how they each handle having a baby. And this movie is funny in some areas and not funny in other areas. Obviously, when we have a movie that has different storylines similar to that of Crazy Stupid Love, and you've seen that a lot of movies are starting to rip off Crazy Stupid Love, this movie, and Think Like a Man, I really feel like they're ripping off Crazy Stupid Love. They're really trying to grab onto that type of popularity in multiple storylines. It is obvious that you are going to tag onto one storyline and just not care about the others, or you're either going to only tag onto the storylines that you care about the most, and you're going to hate the others that really just don't interest you. Well, I'm going to go through each storyline individually, and then I'm going to talk about this whole movie as a whole. So we got our first storyline between Matthew Morrison and Cameron Diaz's character, Evan and Jules. They fall in love on a, what is it, Dancing Like the Stars kind of TV show, and they have a baby. They decided to not know the gender when the ultrasound comes up, and Evan says if it's a boy, since he's Jewish, he wants to get the baby circumcised, and their chemistry is pretty good. I felt I really didn't want to get around this particular storyline because I didn't like the whole argument about circumcision, because that whole thing just kind of, ow! I just don't want anyone to think about that. Obviously, I'm against circumcision. And so we get on to Ben Falcone and Elizabeth Banks, Gary and Wendy, Wendy's best friend Janice. And I love Janice, she's funny. I like Ben Falcone, he's great. I hate Elizabeth Banks in this movie. Oh my god, she is annoying as hell in this film. She's doing things that I don't think a pregnant woman would ever do. Would try to do her work in her condition. It's just like, what? Seriously? You got gas problems and everything with your pregnant body, and you're going on like this? It's just, I hated the scene where she goes and tells everyone, making a human being sucks. I hated that scene. Oh god. It almost made me hate the movie altogether. That was when I was starting to hate the movie altogether, and then when it got back to the funny parts afterwards, I was like, oh, I'm starting to like this movie again. Especially when they remixed what she was saying to a YouTube video, because then I laughed at it. It's like, that was very funny. So I kind of like so-so on that part, and I really wanted to move on to the next storyline. Dennis Quaid and Brooklyn Decker, Ramsey and Skylar, the 50-year-old man with his, what I like to call the midlife crisis wife. I call this the midlife crisis wife because this is the kind of wife that a 50-year-old man would marry if he wants to experience how young he is when he's not so young, and try to experience it through having a wife that is half his age. That's basically what it looks like to me. I don't know why a woman that young would marry a guy that old, though. Maybe because she can't find a guy her age that is mature enough to be around, and so she just likes older men, maybe. It was funny, the chemistry they had together. I liked the fact that she was being the protective stepmother to Gary's character, because then Gary and Ramsey are Ramsey and Gary are father and son, I should say. That was just great. And yeah, Skylar is Gary's stepmother. And Skylar and Ramsey are having twins. And it was funny the way Ramsey and Gary competing against each other, and Ramsey almost wanted to use his pregnancy of twins to compete against Gary's pregnancy of his son. That was pretty funny. So yeah, I like that storyline a lot. Let's move to the next storyline. Anna Kendrick as Rosie and Chase Crawford as Marco. Okay, this is your typical way you're trying to get into the younger couples in the audience, and you got two attractive actors, and that's pretty much what this couple was trying to do, in my opinion. And you got the good man, and he gets Rosie pregnant, and he is trying to do everything he can for Rosie, and Rosie's just rejecting it. Seems to me because Marco is presenting the help in bad manner. It just seems why she's rejecting it. I hate the fact that she's rejecting his attempt to help at each turn, but I can understand why she's rejecting it. And I didn't totally like this storyline that much, so let's move on to the next one, please. My favorite storyline, Holly and Alex. Jennifer Lopez and Rodrigo Santanero. And usually, I hate Jennifer Lopez in these romantic movies because her characters are so outrageous. It's just, I just keep on thinking of the Wedding Planner, and I just hated that movie. And this character, I liked her. I liked her character in this film. I liked Rodrigo Santero, if I'm pronouncing his name right. He was great, and I love the Dad's Club, the dudes. They are just so funny. Chris Rock being the leader of this group. Oh my God, he is hilarious. And the rest of the guys were great. Oh man, it was just so funny the way they talked about every wrong thing they did as dads. Oh, my kid ate a cigarette. I think my kid was dead. My kid was swimming in a toilet. You see Chris Rock's kid picking up dead animals. It's just funny as hell. You know these guys are not dads of the year, but it's just, they're just doing their best to be dads. And somehow, I guess, if I was a dad, I'm not, but I guess I could relate to these guys. These guys are guys. It's just funny. And Alex and Holly are having a baby through adoption, and they make dudes make the funniest joke where they say, "Oh, yeah, that's a great way to do it. You avoid all the stress." That was funny as ever. So that was like my favorite storyline in the whole movie. Every time they brought me back to that storyline, it's like, all right, we're back to that storyline. I was like loving the movie right then and there again. And then the whole tie-up when you have all the couples giving birth except for Rosie and Marco. And I'm not going to spoil why they're not giving birth on that night. But the only connection Rosie has that particular night is that she is, what was it, Gary's cousin, I think? Something like that? Yeah. And that's pretty much it. And this is where I can get my final verdict in here. This movie is pretty good. It's not as bad as what I thought it was going to be. If you're a guy and you're going to this movie, you're probably going to like it. And I would probably give a big warning that if your woman decides to bring you this movie, or if you go with your girlfriend to this movie, she's probably going to get baby fever. But if you already have a kid, you're probably safe about that already. Maybe you and your girlfriend, you and your wife have probably had your fill of kids by that point if you already have a child. I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. You know, it wasn't all that bad.